Good morning. Welcome to day 4 of my vlog. I'll be 100% honest, I'm surprised with myself that I've made it this far. I just might actually do this thing. I was talking to one of my other kids last night and he's been kind of disappointed that he hasn't been in any of them yet. So hopefully he won't be busy one of these days and we can get him in one. He's got band stuff and everything, which you'll see some of that stuff. But anyway, this morning we are going to the Holocaust Memorial and Educational Resource Center. Does that sound right?
Sounds right.
So it's a little Holocaust museum that we have here in Maitland, Florida. So we're heading to that for the morning, and then afterwards we're going to pick up some more free birthday food and then go home and get our windshield changed because we got hit by a big giant rock. So Safe Light is going to come out and repair our windshield today. So we need to go home and do that, which is kind of a bummer because we were going to go to Hollywood Studios and ride some rides and take you guys there, but getting our windshield replaced is kind of important. So we're going to go ahead and do that first. And other than that, it's going to be just, you know, cleaning up, chores, cooking food for our lunches for the week. And because our weekend is Thursday and Friday. So those are the days that we're off and we work the other days of the week. So yeah, to recap, we're going to the Holocaust Museum. We're gonna get gas. We're gonna grab some Jersey Mike's for our birthday lunch because we're still using up our birthday rewards. And we're going to go to the Holocaust Memorial Educational Resource Center. Now, I'm a big fan of museums. I like learny things, and I know that other people get kind of bored with that kind of stuff, but I really don't, and I'm actually really looking forward to exploring the free resources that are around Orlando and Central Florida, because there's a ton of stuff to do here besides go to Disneyland or Disney World and Hollywood's Universal Studios. I can't talk this morning, wow. But there's a lot more to Central Florida than just theme parks, and I'm looking forward to kind of exploring the things that are out here with you guys. I know there's some other vloggers who have done it, and I've watched their vlogs and I love them, and it got me really excited to go out and see some of these things myself, so that's what we're doing. And of course I'm going to bring you along so that all my friends and family that are watching in other parts of the country can, you know, definitely see what we're up to and see where I live is like, because there's a couple of people that I hang out with that were like, oh, you're gonna be living in Florida, that's gross, it's hot, it's nasty, whatever, lots of negative things about Florida, but I love it here. I don't ever want to leave, and I want to get to know my new home as well as possible. So yeah, good morning, welcome to today's show, and we will check back in a few minutes when we get to the Holocaust Memorial. Oh, I need to give an update on The Big Sick, because we did watch that last night and it was really good. I really liked it. There's something about watching comedians do movies about serious things that seems to be more heart-wrenching than watching like regular people have a sad movie. I don't know if that, I guess it's just because these are people that live their life in jokes and laughter, and to see them try to kind of laugh and joke their way through things that are like really bad and sad for them, it just, I don't know, it's just really hard. It just makes it more difficult, and I don't know what it was about it, but it brought tears to my eyes in a lot of scenes, just watching this guy Kumail, who I can't remember his last name, but anyway, he's a comedian. I'm sure you guys all heard of him because of The Big Sick, or seen him on Saturday Night Live when he hosted or whatever, or a stand-up. But I don't know, I really liked it. It was a good movie. It was just kind of sad. I struggle with watching people who normally do nothing but make me laugh be serious or go through tragedies in film, and not just because it's I don't struggle like, oh, I can't watch this, like they have to make me laugh or I don't want anything to do with them. It's nothing like that. It's just, it just pulls at my heart more to see people who are normally, you know, the source of smiles be sad. I mean, it, like when Robin Williams killed himself, it was like really hard on me because I don't like it that people who are generally in place in the world to make other people happy can't find it in themselves. Like, I don't anyway, that's how I felt about The Big Sick. I really liked it, but it made me more emotional than I expected it to. There you go. That's my movie review. Okay, so as I said, we're at the Holocaust Museum now, and it feels a bit like a library, so I don't want to talk very loud. But everybody I talked to didn't even know about this place, and they've all lived here for a really long time. And it's pretty cool. They actually have like a 45-minute audio tour that you can download. But I'm gonna this is like the entry room, and they did say there's gonna be a bunch of students in here really soon, so it's gonna get kind of crazy, but just giving you guys an idea. There's just a bunch of pictures and some information about survivors. We've got Eli Wiesel, who is a survivor that I happen to like. I've read his books. I think they're all really good.
So I never know. Sometimes I'll have to make it relight.
But this is just the entrance right here. A lot of pictures and information. Sorry, I'm kind of reading a little bit here, so I'll make sure I edit this later to make it a little bit better of a flow. But I really like this. I've actually seen this quote by Eli. Yeah, I'm gonna have to flip the little screen here. This quote right here, though, by Eli Wiesel, I like it a lot. Neutrality helps oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. I just always liked how he's always like, stand up and say something, talk about things. And in light of what's been happening in the United States over the last few years, I kind of agree with him that we need to talk about things more. This around. Thing flipping around.
Unfortunately, it's really about the students. I would go into the art classrooms and do outreach with the kids there. So I
just think it's so interesting how
but for that, you just talk to the art teacher.
Judaism has been around longer than any religion on the planet, and they managed to just kind of get squashed when they're literally like the oldest one in existence.
I took a week's course many years ago at UF. I think it was probably definitely not.
Look, when you get to it, you can read that, but it's just how they took care of each other, and it's like a concept that's not in anybody's brains anymore. Stormtrooper dagger. Not the kind of stormtroopers everybody I know likes right now. That is a Nazi stormtrooper dagger.
It's probably not a coincidence he named them stormtroopers.
It's actually not. I learned that I took a college class on Star Wars, and George Lucas actually filled his movies with religious and historical references. So it's not really a coincidence. A little interesting piece of information about the Cantina Band is that it wasn't, this isn't a joke, the music that the Cantina Band plays, like Mike Revis and the Cantina Band in Star Wars, it's called Jizz. So here, this little display is just talking about when the Nazi takeover kind of began, and just some artifacts from that. That's crazy. Cigarette card books. What?
So you know you were going to end up having to watch Schindler's List again now, right?
Yep. The book was really good. Have you read the book? Because the book tells like the real story.
Because they Hollywood a little bit, I know.
And most of it, the really main difference between, so Courtney just mentioned how he's probably going to want to rewatch Schindler's List for a little bit more history after doing this. And I was just mentioning, it is a good movie, but I was just mentioning to him how the book is of course different than the movie, because it's always the case, and I'm a big reader, and The main difference, you know, that Hollywood changed was basically about Oskar Schindler, how he wasn't a bad guy, but he was a very unfaithful guy. And the book talks more about his affairs, whereas the movie kind of downplays that. But that's really unimportant to the story anyway.
They showed it a little bit in the movie.
Yeah.
And I got the big, and then I give it to the teachers.
Okay.
Yeah. And they
Ostracized.
we get away and just say, well, that most likely they will be graded. That's, you know.
Yeah, I
Most likely, I just think, most likely they will be graded because they're kind of.
I think what I told them is that the teacher will be looking at it.
Good, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Ostracized just for being friends.
And they're just been holding on to it, but
However you want to do it, I whatever works, you know.
yeah. I mean, we found them lying around without even.
But, and I had to tell the teacher because sometimes.
Yeah.
The classroom teachers, sometimes they send, like I said, when the guidance counselor or dean of the classroom teacher has to cover other sections, so it's a little while, sometimes they're not with you sometimes. Yeah.
So then, for the second group that comes in, do they just use the same clipboards that are lying on the chair and then
So
pass out?
and just pass that.
Okay.
And what I try to do is, because it is shorter.
That's loud.
It is a little.
I find it, I feel bad about hitting the button because it's so loud.
Nazi ghettos for Jews was established only 30
Oh, okay, so you guys turned it up. Okay.
It started World War II in Europe. Why did the Nazis choose a policy of restricting Jews to ghettos when they had rejected that same idea for German Jews in the aftermath of Kristallnacht just 11 months earlier?
Great that they had field trips and now more than ever to this kind of place.
From the earliest days of the Nazi, again, a progressive program of increasing social, economic, and legal persecution. It moved through stages of segregation, boycotts and restrictions on employment, housing, education,
imagine
and
having to dig
access
your
to
own
public
grave?
spaces. Loss of
So can
civil
you imagine
rights
having to dig
and
your own
citizenship
grave?
as well. And all of this was accompanied by the constant threat of violence and imprisonment. The overall goal was to make life in
We're getting a bit anymore, it's a bit different. Yeah, why not?
That's so small. Like they were so starved. That uniform is for a grown man. And it looks like a child's large size shirt.
The kids there.
Just in person, it literally looks like a child size 12, 14 for like a boy's t-shirt.
It's awful.
And it belonged to a grown man who had 2 kids of his own. Like that's how starved these poor people were. These little girls here. Gosh. So we're able to write from the ghetto for a little while. These are written to relatives in Ohio. That's crazy.
feels like people have already forgotten about this since
Oh,
the
yeah.
80s and 90s. Never mind, like,
Yeah. Well, it's like you got half the people who want to deny it and half the people who don't want to talk about things that make them feel uncomfortable. And
it's like I know Schindler's List probably put it back in the forefront, but
speech by Al Gore. Al Gore's death. Blame the war and concentration camps on everybody but themselves. They're afraid to say no. You know, that's true for a lot of them. They were just too scared to say no. It was their lives or the other lives, and they chose the others. Self-preservation. A lot of people do it.
I just want to give you folks a heads up.
Are you there on their way?
Showed up.
okay. Thank you.
We'll move into the exhibit here in a second. A lot of extermination
The
camps.
less it's open, the better.
It's like you hear about Treblinka and Warsaw and Auschwitz. A little bit of Plaszow. You hear about Krakow, but you don't really hear that about all these other ones that were there.
6 million. Like,
I know.
had to have been.
What time is it?
10:24.
Shoes. These are pictures of piles of shoes and glasses taken from Jewish prisoners. This is something that they would do in the Scottish Highlands.
When they had.
Yeah, whenever there was war, or if they'd have like an honor slaughter or something, or if like they had to fight people for any reason, they would take either the people who ignored it or the people that it was done for would have to go through the battleground and view the bodies and see what was done for them or because of them. Like they were forced to be witnesses to it. There's quite a few here. I see they're coming down the side. Probably. Oh wow. And this is an art gallery of Holocaust art from an artist in St. Petersburg. And the school group is here, so we're probably going to try to wrap up, but this has been really, really, really interesting. That makes me think of The Book Thief, with the girl who snatched a book out of a pile of burning books. What?
Just thinking of that look over there, the Schindler's List, the little girl in the red dress.
Oh, yep.
I feel like that's what that's.
Inspired by, probably. So yeah, so we went in there. It was really interesting. A lot of people, it's windy, so I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear me, but most of the people I talked to had never even heard of this place being here. And I didn't come in here today because I was trying to make any kind of like political or religious statement or anything like that. But I do feel like people in general, and Americans in particular, are pretty adamant to forget about things that they feel bad about. Like they don't want to talk about it. Nobody likes to be uncomfortable. Nobody likes to address truths in their lives. And that kind of frustrates me. I get kind of frustrated with myself just because I tend to catastrophize, you know, how to catastrophize? If I said that word right. I tend to make things in my own life bigger than they are, and I have a hard time like coping with a lot of stuff, and I, you know, see things like this and it just kind of puts me in my place and gives me some perspective on how, like that little picture I zoomed in on of Anne Frank, how she could say, that after all the things that happened to her and her family, that she still believes that the world is a good place. And I mean, and I believe that too. Like I know that there's lots of people doing good things, but I just wanted to point out, I didn't go in here because I'm trying to make any kind of political or religious statement. I just feel like it's important that we don't forget these kinds of things, and I didn't know that there was a Holocaust museum near Orlando, and I'm glad that I checked it out and I learned a lot. And if you're ever in the area, and you know, it's definitely worth stopping in and just kind of seeing what local Holocaust survivors have kind of built for themselves here, because it's actually a pretty big center and it's really busy here and there's a lot of stuff going on. And it's just funny that we pulled up and saw how busy it was when everybody that I'd mentioned to that I was coming here didn't even know it was here. So I don't know, I just learned something new about my community.